Here is the 91 RG550 I just bought, and it's not been set up or anything, so I'm going to have to take these old strings off. Probably take the pick guard off. There's one flaw here. There's a crack that it's in the pick guard, and I don't know exactly why, because in the pictures that she presented on the reverb.com didn't have this crack, and it's right here too, so it goes all the way across. So anyways, let me get set up here and we'll start working on these frets. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm just taking all the strings off. I don't really care what condition the neck's in. If, you know, a lot of tremolos you don't want to, you know, change strings like this. But in my case here, this guitar has been sitting in the closet for so long. You know, who knows what's going on with the neck. You know, I might have to make an adjustment on the truss rod. So I don't really care. This is kind of like, you know, we're going from zero here. These things are really old. I can notice that the tuners are really loose. They're not. I don't know if you can see that, but the thing's wiggling like crazy. Not that it really matters on a Floyd Rose, because it doesn't, because of this locking nut here, as we all know. But I don't like to see that, so I will tighten those up. I always check the tuners when I'm doing guitars. I'll even check the tension on the buttons, you know. I don't want them really tight, and I don't want them really loose. I just want them in between, so they move nice and freely. When you're taking strings off, try to be careful, especially when you got a painted headstock, because you might scratch your headstock. Especially on this part here, that's one that always pokes you in the finger. That might whip around and just dig right into the paint, and that's what you see headstocks with these scratches on them. There's this stuff here, and this is like the finest. I can't remember what the hell they call this shit, but you can get it at Home Depot. Okay, and this is the finest one. Pressing down on that wood really good. Not so much on this. I don't want to have to fight the damn thing when I pull it off the pick guard. Definitely don't want to be trying to do that, and then next thing you know, I'm going to have to just lightly, you know, scratch it off with my fingers, and that. It's not cool. I'm getting all three of these pickups because, you know, stuff jumps around, and I like to do a clean job here. Don't want anything on my magnets. Just the way it is. Okay, what I'm going to do now, at least you can see on the pole pieces there where some of the The shavings are on the tape there, so the vacuum didn't get all of it. Actually, I think I did some of this third one, but you can see these other ones, the condition that they're in. So. Sorry for the nasty noise, people, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So you can see the big difference that we have in the shine of those things. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my way on down the neck, and then we'll move on to something else. Okay, what we're at now is we've got everything, all the frets are cleaned up and shiny. As you can see, there's no fret wear on any of these frets. For a 23-year-old guitar, you can see that it's in mint condition. I mean, I scored big time with this one. I went ahead and tightened up these nuts on these tuners. They were all loose, which normal guitars are when they haven't been, you know, paid attention to in some time. So we'll go ahead and put strings on them now. What I did, I saved you the agony of watching me apply this this stuff here, which is a guitar polish cleaner set that you can buy. Oh, guitar scratch remover, excuse me. It works on some stuff, and if you're really bored one day, I have a video I did on my 91 Sabre guitar, which is that purple one right up there, that second one that you see, and I applied this stuff to it, and I got rid of all the swirl around the area where the pickups are. But this one here, I tried it on this acrylic mirror pickguard because it's got some, I don't know if you're going to be able to see any of the little scratches. There isn't many, but I used it on here anyways to see if I could clean it up some. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put the strings on, and then we'll go ahead and set up the tremolo. Okay. Yeah, this is what I use. I use 8s. Ever since I was a kid, I use 8s because 8s were the smallest strings. Everybody knows when you're young, like 13 years old, that your fingers aren't that strong. So my mom would buy me strings every now and then. I heard about Ernie Ball from my friend in sixth grade. And he used to say, Ernie Ball, super slinkies. So I asked for some, and when I got a little older, I was like, I like these small ones, so I always use them. Sometimes I use 9s on some like guitars, like Fender, like a vintage Fender Tremolo maybe. It helps it stay in tune, I believe it, with the string tension, the equalization from the springs of the tremolo and the strings themselves. But I don't like 9s. Somebody says, well, what's the difference between 9s and 10s? It's the smaller, the gauges. You can really feel it. The larger ones, not so much, but the smaller ones, it's a lot of difference for to feel it on my fingers. So, okay, so I got one string on here, and you know how boring it is to watch people change strings. So I'm gonna cut this, and then when I come back, they'll all be on here. Okay. See what I did here? Instead of doing the thing where you do the blocking, I've never done that with these tremolos, but what I did was I put the E and the A string on, and then I jumped all the way down to the B and the E, the small ones. That way it holds the trem on. Because what will happen, sometimes they'll fall out, the edge will fall off of the stud, and it won't actually be on there, and you might end up putting your strings on and it might be riding below the pivot point, and then what happens is you'll be playing and all of a sudden it'll clunk and pop in place. And I've seen some dude on one of his videos, one of his buddies brought a guitar over, and that's exactly what happened. He had it professionally supposedly set up, and the dude was playing the guitar, and then all of a sudden it went clonk, and it was like, he knew what happened. It was because the pivot point here on that stud, it wasn't on there. Okay, what we're going to do now, let's zoom down here a little bit. Oh, you can tell this peck up here, it's just bugging me how low it is. Going to raise that up. That looks cool. The trim, we're going to flip this guitar over right now, and we're going to start our long journey on dialing it in, because it involves a little bit of a patience as far as locking this down, you know, and retuning and adjusting our fine tuners here. As you can see right now, they're way too high, so I'm going to go ahead. I like to get them at a little bit around the middle point to start off with, and end with as well. We're going to end up, we want these, you know, in case like we need to adjust our tuning, we can go either way if you're out playing or whatever. As you can see right now, let me go ahead and change the camera angle down here so you can see what we're doing at a level playing field. So just give me a second. Okay, so we're looking at the trem pretty much at a good, nice little angle. Now, I don't know if you know it, everybody should know the game here with these. This is a low pro edge, so it's the second version of the licensed Floyd Rose from Ibanez. The first being the Ibanez original edge, and this one being the low pro, which what they tried to do was make it lower so it doesn't stick up as much. They're basically the same, but right here at this point here, there's a line there. You can't see it. I don't think you can see it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It's right here, and that line is supposed to be level with the guitar's body. So as you can see where my trim is sitting right now, we've got too much spring tension in the back. We need to loosen it up so this thing is sitting like this. Okay? So what I'm going to do right now is flip the guitar over, take the back plate off, and then we'll start the video back up. Okay.